So welcome to the first episode of Build Your Own Software with me, Moose. Okay, so for the first episode, or the first season, I thought I'd do a physical activity move and stretch coach. So we're all sitting on the couch too much, we're all sitting at our desks too much. And this is a little program that just reminds you to get up from your desk when you're using your computer, to get up from your desk and get moving. So it pops up, say, every hour, and it prompts you to do 5 minutes of different exercises or something like that, whatever you want to do. So I thought that would be a good project to start with. So we're in episode 1, so we're going to look at just an overview of the project and just getting started. In terms of complexity, in the scheme of things, in terms of projects you could do as a programming project, this is a very easy project, right down the easy end. So complexity is 1 out of 10. Very, very easy in the scheme of things. Now for beginner programmers and for students learning the program, this might seem like a complex project. Okay, I'm not saying it's trivially easy. Okay, but later on when you've done lots of projects, for example, you're working in industry or done lots of projects for yourself or whatever, then this, in the scheme of things, really is a very simple project. Okay, it might not seem that way if you're learning programming, but believe me, in the scheme of things, when you've done when you've got a few years of programming under your belt, this is a very simple project. Okay, so the motivation for this project was I'd really hurt my back, and I needed something to get me up and get me moving repeatedly during the day. So when I was working on my machine, because 10 hours when I'm working on a program or working on a project, 10 hours can go by like that for me, and I've got to be very careful. I've got to remember to keep moving, especially now I'm getting older and bigger, unfortunately. So this project helps me keep more active and keep moving during the day, and not just sitting there in one position with my back freezing up. I was really in excruciating pain for about a week recently because I've been sitting too long in one spot in a draft, and it froze my back up. So that's what started the project, and it's just sort of developed a little bit, and it's probably something I'll release on my webpage as well. But here's a quick look at what I developed. So it's got some progress bars here. It's not the neatest project. I don't really care about looks that much. I care more about functionality. So message at the top there says not in an exercise period, so just relax for now. Just relax. Exercise time remaining for this round is 0. We're not exercising, and the next exercise period is still a long way away. The green bar's full there, so it's still a long way away. I think my settings are that every 60 minutes I do 5 minutes of exercise. Okay, and look at the settings screen, and you'll see there it is there. So there's a whole bunch of exercises in here, and I've just typed them in. Just silly exercises I made up. Poochie pats is where I bend down and pat my doggies, because I've got some little doggies I really love. Stretch to sides, torso spins, touching your knees and shoulders and all that sort of stuff. Just exercises I made up. Okay, and I do 15 seconds per exercise, and it changes. The exercise period is 2 minutes in length, or you can just change to whatever I like, 3, 4, 5, whatever I want. And every 60 minutes. So every 60 minutes I do 2 minutes of stretching and moving, and I do 15 seconds per exercise. And it just chooses a random exercise out of this list every 15 seconds. Okay, if you want to see it in action, I can click the Now button, and it will simulate that this exercise period has now got to 0, so it's time for the next exercise period. I've just got a little button there to simulate that. Oops. There it is there. Okay, so exercise times now, and we're going to do flip-flops, which are where I bend backwards and forwards. I've just made these exercises up. Bend right back as far as I can, and bend forwards as far as I can. Stretching right out. And then it changes. So 15 seconds per exercise. Now it's stretching to the sides, where I move from side to side. Really stretching down as far as I can. So it's all about keeping your spine active for me, because I had a spine injury. And we've got exercise time remaining. So that's our 2 minutes counting down here, and these are the 15 seconds counting down. So flip flops again. It's just choosing exercises at random out of that list that I typed in. Okay, and at the end, when this gets down to 0, it'll go back to saying not an exercise period, just relax. Okay, and I've also got a few extra features in there. For example, this just sits minimized in my Windows or Raspberry Pi or Linux taskbar, and then it pops up when it's an exercise period. So it pops up in front of what I'm doing, and so I'll show you how to do all these sorts of things. So this will all be part of the project. Okay, and so that's what we're aiming for. Okay, just so we're all on the same page. So it's going to be a little exercise thing. We've got various timers, we've got some labels, we've got some buttons, we've got some panels, and we're using layout managers and so on. So the settings screen, we've got some spin edits and a text area. So just basic GUI development sort of stuff there going on. And so that's what we're aiming for. Okay, so the topics we're going to cover, it's all going to be in the Java programming language. We're going to do some basic GUI development. So we're going to be using labels, buttons, panels, layout managers, spin edits, text areas, those sorts of things. We're going to be doing some simple file I/O, so reading and writing files. We're going to be looking at timers and event handlers and doing some basic stuff there. And we're going to be using ArrayLists to store our exercises and some random numbers and things like that. So that's sort of the area we're dealing with. Nothing complicated. We're not linking to databases. We're not reaching out across the internet to load data from a database or anything like that. It's going to be a basic Windows or windowed desktop application. So it's for Windows, Linux, Raspberry Pi, those sorts of Mac OS. So any of those sorts of environments. What I'm developing anyway, what I'm going to show you how to develop, will not work on the Android or iPhone or anything like that. You'll need to develop using different tools to what I'm using. Okay. I'll also show you how to create a jar file, which is like a Java executable. You can just double click and it'll run like an executable does. I'll add all the code to GitHub and I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you how to get set up and get started. And just some things I'm going to do here. I'm not going to use any third-party libraries. I'm not going to write any complex code. I'm going to keep everything as simple as possible. Okay, so if this sounds like you, something you might be interested in, so anyone who wants to learn Java programming or anyone who is learning Java programming or anyone who's done programming in other languages that wants to learn Java, that wants to cross over to Java, then this video is for you. Also, anyone who's having trouble sleeping. Yes, thank you. My students often say that. No, they don't. Well, some do. So what I'll be using, I'm going to be just using a simple text editor, and I'm using TextPad. You can see I'm using TextPad here. I've got a really old version that I use because that's the version I paid for a decade ago, and it does everything I want. I haven't bothered upgrading. So I'm using TextPad, but if you want to use Eclipse or IntelliJ or BlueJ or any other editor, and you're comfortable with that, NetBeans, all of the code I write will be 100% compatible with those. It's just you'll be using a different development tool. So it's a simple text editor is a minimum. I'm using TextPad, and you also need the Java software development kit. Okay, and a few notes. I'll take things very slowly, and I'll explain what I'm doing at every step, and why I'm doing it. I'll be doing lots of compile test runs, and so it'd be good if you if you want to follow along and develop this project for yourself and learn what I'm doing and understand what I'm doing. It would be great if you could type in the code and follow what I do. If I do a compile and test, you do a compile and test. If I change this code here and make it like this, you change your code to make it exactly the same. Okay, that's what this sort of video series is for. It's for people who are joining in and doing it with me. And also all of my code, including the code as it stands at the end of every episode, end of every video, will be on my GitHub. Okay, so if you get stuck at any point after video 3 or whatever, you can go to my GitHub, get the code for video 3, compare it to yours and see what's going on. Okay, so nobody will be left behind. So if that sounds interesting, if that sounds something you might want to do or join in on, here's some things you need to do. So you need to type in the code yourself as I write it. When I compile and test, you compile and test. Be very careful. Java's extremely case sensitive. You've got to put semicolons in the right place. You've got to put your brackets the right way around. Java is very, very finicky on its syntax, so you need to write your code exactly as I do. You got the benefit there of using the pause button. So you can always pause and rewind and go back and look at the code again if you've got an error you can't fix. But I'll compile and test often, so make sure you do the same. Okay. If I change or move any code, make sure you make exactly the same changes to yours. So keep everything the same as me, the same comments, the same names. So if ever you do come across an error you can't fix, it's very easy to compare your code and mine and work out what's different and what's wrong. And of course, if you want to keep up with the latest changes, subscribe to my channel and upvote, comment, show me some encouragement. If no one's watching the videos and no one's upvoting and no one's commenting, I might as well go and do something else if people aren't interested. So this is just a trial project, and there could be many more things to come. Okay, and like I said earlier, the code I'm writing is for Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Raspberry Pi, and anything else capable of running the Java virtual machine. So any other platform that is running the Java virtual machine. So for us at this stage, that excludes Android, iPhone, iPad, and those sorts of devices. So we're developing just for desktop at this stage. Okay, maybe in a future video I'll do some Android or iPhone development, but not now. It's Java was supposed to be a develop once or write once, run anywhere language, and they still promote it as that, but it's not. It's nowhere near that. Anyway, we'll come on to all that later. Okay, so if you've got a Windows machine, a laptop or desktop or Mac OS machine, or any sort of Mac, a Linux machine or a Raspberry Pi or those sorts of devices, this project will run fine on those. Okay, and that's about all I need to say. So that's the project. If this is interesting for you, like I say, please let me know. So subscribe, upvote this video, comment on the video, say, Mike, I want to do this. Let's get started. And if a few people reply, only take a few replies to get me going, I think. Then I'll start on the next episode, which will be starting to build the application and getting set up and that sort of thing. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.